Hello. Welcome back to my haunted living room. Although my living room's not haunted, but I'm coming to you from my living room today. If you saw my post on Instagram or on my community page on YouTube, I did break my collarbone last, no, 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. Riding my bike like I do every morning. It's still really sore, but it's healing. I just have to be in this sling for like 6 weeks. And yeah, so I can't really drive. So I decided to do a video here because I'm going bonkers sitting around with nothing to do. Now, the first couple days of this injury were completely agonizing. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, even with the heavy narcotics that they gave me. It was really, really painful, and it was horrible. But what happened? I'll just back up a little bit. I mean, this has just been, I don't even want to go into what a terrible year this has been. And I'm talking deaths, illnesses, tragedies, family tragedies, left and right. And then, my mother died in August. Lilly had cancer. She was really sick. We were treating her. She had surgery. She was on chemo, and it just got to be like nothing was helping. So she went off chemo, and we knew the end was coming. And she did pass away. It still hurts to even talk about it, but she passed away 2 Saturdays ago. And at the end of this video, I'm going to do my last Your Daily Lily, because I know people who have followed my channel for the past 6 years since I've been on YouTube, on BookTube, always, I don't think I missed one Daily Lily. Now, Lucky, I think she's back. Where is she? There she is. Lucky's been great. So I will do my daily Luckies, and maybe I'll get another puppy. I think I'll wait at least till next year. But yeah, the whole thing with Lily was so tough. Having just lost a parent, and then just a couple months later losing a dog, like a beloved dog, someone who's been with, well, I said someone, she felt like a person. From the time that I went to California to visit my sister and took Lily back with me because she's my sister's dog's litter. She was the pick of the litter. And by the time we took that plane ride from California to Philadelphia, we had bonded, and she was just a little puppy, and she was so cute. And she was very, very special, and very special to us. And Joe, my husband, has taken it really hard. So that happened on Saturday. And then, as I do every morning, I'm riding my bike on Tuesday. A couple days after this, I'm just processing everything with Lily. And it wasn't that I was distracted when I was riding. What happened was I literally got blown over by the wind. Now, it sounds a little silly, but I've been on Reddit reading up other people on bikes have experienced this, and I didn't even think about it as being something to look out for. Like, I would think about, not riding when it's icy, and not riding in foul weather, this kind of thing. But it was very windy, and most of the time I was riding into the wind until I got down to the river. And the I don't ride on the road, but it's, at some point I do kind of have to cross roads. It's like a 4.5 mile radius on a bike trail around the town. And I don't wear a helmet, although when I get back on, and I will get back on because I'm determined to get back on the bike, just like to get back on the horse. And I've been thrown by horses before too. So I used to ride quite a lot. That was something I've been thinking about doing again. I don't know. It's crazy, but I can't not do something that I love just because this happened. But anyway, I was coming just up a very slight incline, and the wind came out of nowhere, and it literally like pushed my bike 5 feet sideways. It felt like it lifted it off the ground, and my tires hit the curb, and it just dumped me onto the ground. Now, luckily, I fell on the ground and not on the pavement, because if I had slammed my head on the pavement the way I slammed it on the ground, I probably would have done some real damage. But shoulder slammed into the ground. I heard the crack of the bone. It was horrible. Pain shot through my entire arm. then my head slammed and I was kind of like out of it after that. This lovely, and when I see him, I'm going to definitely thank him, buy him a coffee or something. This homeless guy named Francis, who I've seen around town. I live in a very small town, so I've seen him riding his bike. He fishes over near this bridge that I always cross, so I see him. Other cars were going by. Now, maybe they didn't know I was hurt, but my bike was like on its side, and I'm sitting there, completely stunned. I mean, I saw stars, and he stopped and got me help. Luckily, Joe was home. I called Joe. By the time Joe got there, they were like loading me into the ambulance, and never been in an ambulance before. That was kind of interesting, but I was really in shock. I couldn't, like, the whole side of it still hurts, but it's so much better. And I have to see a surgeon again tomorrow. I hope that I don't have to get it operated on, but it's a little bit messed up. The bone is kind of sticking up this way. Anyway, it's gross. They gave me fentanyl, which really helped, I have to say, once I got into the ambulance. And then I went to the ER. They took the x-rays. They said, yeah, your head's good. So I did have like a migraine headache for a couple of days, but no, I didn't have a cracked skull or anything. Did have a concussion, but the bone was broken really bad. So for 3 days, I'm sitting in the bed, and I do not do well with doing nothing and sitting and doing nothing. I just hate it. But I did take the Percocets they gave me. I was very grateful for them because it hurt like hell. It hurt like hell, and I could not get comfortable. And I basically was like nodding in and out of a narcotic fog and watching Dark Shadows on Roku. So I went to I think it's the second season of Dark Shadows when Barnabas shows up, and I watched 75 episodes in a row. I highly recommend it. In fact, I've been on a bit of a Dark Shadows kick. I'm about to start reading the Salem branch I'm using my computer camera, so I don't have it quite figured out. But anyway, I'm going to start reading this, and I have this great comic or magazine, Diabolique, all about Dark Shadows. And I also watched, here's a great poster from this, House of Dark Shadows. Again, I've seen it many times. That was one of my earliest horror films that I ever saw it might have been the first one. Hell House was the first one, but it was definitely an early one that totally freaked me out because I was about 7 years old when I went to see that. And I was used to watching Dark Shadows, the TV show, and the House of Dark Shadows was rated PG. So it was much more bloody and violent and scary. Really, really scary. But I was a true horror fan after seeing that. So what else? Well, despite my injury, I was able to finish my book. Final Dress. Here's the proof. I gave it the last final. I always like to read the proof. And Andrew Lyle helped me tremendously with editing because I really needed some help. And my usual editor, I hope he's okay. He's an elderly guy. I sent him a couple emails and he hasn't gotten back yet. So I don't know what's going on, but it's been a weird time. But anyway, Andrew did a great job. And I made my deadline because you have to upload this a couple days before it comes out, and it comes out December 1st. And because of this accident, I haven't had a lot of time to promote this book, or I wanted to do a lot more videos about my experience working in the theater and how that played in so much to writing this book. But sorry, I can't really use them. I can use the mouse, but not when it's stuck in the sling. But anyway, I'm proud that I finished it. I'm really proud that I finished it. It's definitely more along my, it's not as dark or as sexual or as adult themed as Carney is. It's more along the lines of Code Red. It's a little more fun, a little more campy. It's about a young girl who, her name is Shauna, and she is a pretty upper middle class girl, small town. I based it on, it's called Tully. The town is called Tullytown. There actually is a Tullytown, but I didn't really base it on that town. I just liked the way that the name of that Tully town, but kind of based it on the small town that I grew up in called Buckingham, which was very, very tiny. And we had a theater that's still there called Town and Country Playhouse, which is in an old barn. And there's also a theater in New Hope that's more famous and more professional called the Bucks County Playhouse, which is also in an old barn. So I use those experiences from those theaters creating the Tullytown Playhouse, which is an old barn. And like old barns, there's a lot of like nooks and crannies where serial killers can hang out and slashers, and that's really what this is about. So Shauna interns at the theater, and before she knows it, she's moved up the ranks to understudy and then to leading lady. But she's made some enemies along the way, and when someone starts playing some terrible pranks on her, well, things get a little serious, especially when it comes to the final dress rehearsal. So that's the synopsis, briefly, of the book. And I think you'll like it if you like that kind of campy style. If you liked Code Red, or even if you liked Carney, I think you will like Final Dress. It's a quick, fun read. I am on a roll, especially because a lot of books that I had, or stories, if you want to call them stories, not complete books, on that I had on Kindle Vella are now coming off Kindle Vella because Kindle Vella will be no more in the new year. It was an Amazon, I guess, trial. It didn't do too well. It never really did too well for me, although the first year I was on it, they gave excellent bonuses. I missed those bonuses. You get like $800 a month bonus for putting stories up. I'm like, oh, I'll do this. It's more than I'm making somewhere else. Sorry, my chair is very squeaky. This is actually my writing desk. So you're getting the inside look. Yeah, so that's coming down. And then I also took my stories off Wattpad because I guess I was being a little petulant, but I did put Final Dress in as a Waddy Award contender, and it didn't even make the short list. And I've already won a Waddy Award with Code Red, so I'm like, what am I doing? I don't need to give my work away for free. So it's gone. I got a lot out of that. It was fun while it lasted. It gave me a chance to develop some new stuff. That's all coming up in the new year. I'm going to be releasing my fantasy. So it's a series, but so far there are only 2 books that I wrote years ago. And then some other things. I mean, I have some full novels that I still have to complete, to edit and polish and all that stuff. But I'm going to be doing a lot of new releases in 2025. And I'm very excited about that because I'm excited about writing. And this accident being like off my game even for a week where I really couldn't do much except read. Now, I love to read, but I can't just read and watch TV. That is far too passive for me. And my friend James, he's had some little health issue too, so we haven't been able to do our podcast, although we're still doing the zine. I've gotten a lot of great entries for that, or submissions for that already. So really, I should feel like I'm doing enough, but I never feel like I'm doing enough because I just have so much energy to burn, especially when it comes to creative projects. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so I'm going to put some music on for 20 minutes. So we'll just do a 20-minute writing session and see how it goes. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my work in progress, which is Starlex, and I'm not really writing, but I'm editing. But whatever you're working on, we're going to start right now. Tinkle, tinkle. Okay. Let me turn this off. Okay. 20 minutes goes by fast when you're engaged and having fun. How did you do? I did pretty well. As I'm going through my fantasy story, I realize, well, I do have a cheat sheet I keep because I have so many names and places. You know, fantasy is so broad that I have to write things down because I certainly don't remember. And I'm like, really? I wrote that? I don't remember writing that. But also, as I'm reading it, I feel like I should be filling it out a bit, especially because it's a fantasy story that I tend to write tight plots, you know, like look, as writers, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and it's good knowing what yours are. And the more you write, the more you start to learn what they are, and people will give you that feedback. And I know one of mine is like sometimes I don't go, I'm in a rush to get to the end of the story, and I don't maybe spend enough time just relaxing into the story a bit and to fill out some of those details. So this book, which is finished, it's about 75,000 words, which is not that long for a fantasy story. The next book in the series is longer. That's going to be about 100,000 words, which is the biggest, I guess, word count for one work that I've ever done. I thought about combining the two and do like a real doorstopper, but I think it works better as two separate novels. But I don't want to pad my story, but I could, as I'm going through now with some distance and rereading it, I realized that I could, it has some room to breathe. Let's put it that way. So I'll go through it again and do that. I'm just kind of reacquainting myself with the story. I'm reading it as a reader because I've forgotten. I wrote this years ago and I've kind of forgot what I wrote, which can happen. I hope you can hear me. I moved my microphone. So let me know in the comments below how you did on your little writing session. And I don't know about you, I think I can do one more. I'm feeling pretty strong. And I've found myself pretty engaged. So I think 20 minutes might not be enough. Let's go again. And then I do want to hear how you're doing. And since it's not live, maybe you can just put it in the comments. If you have a word count or what you're working on, I would love to know. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. That went by quick. What do you think? All right. How do I turn it off? So I pushed it a little bit today, but I had a good time doing it, and I hope you did too. I think I'm going to spend the next couple of hours on that sofa, just doing some reading and relaxing a little bit, and stick around to the end. I'm going to do one last little Your Daily Lily video for you. So thanks so much for stopping by my unhaunted living room. And let me know in the comments below if you would like me to do this again. Maybe I can incorporate it into my regular routine. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Go to Daddy. Reporting live from Bristol, PA. Hey, over here. Over here. Good girl. Good. She's gonna bite you.
She'll bite you.
Oh, yeah.
You stop that. You stop that.